Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 16. That's right, day 16 of our Back to School Month program here in September 2022. 30 days of September. We're picking our 30 favorite albums from our high school years. In my case, it's 1980 to 1984. Age 14 through 18. Years are going to vary as well. I've seen lots of folks picking 4 years in the 70s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 80s. We're all over the place, and that's the way it should be. So we're all going to have different picks of those top 30 albums we listen to, our favorite albums we listen to. Again, they don't have to have been recorded during the 4-year span, but they're the ones that you went to the most. They were your absolute favorites. You played them the most. I'm going by a personal criteria. I'm not going to pick more than two albums from the same band during the course of the month, just because could easily have 6 Black Sabbath picks and 4 Led Zeppelin picks and the whole thing. I chose not to do that. So the maximum of 2 per band. And in some instances, even though I might have 2 already handpicked for a certain band, I might forego the one so I can pick another band that hasn't been represented that I played to death as well during that time period. We'll see how it goes. We got, like I said, we've already reached the middle part of the month, so here we have the second half, and we'll see how it goes. But this particular one, believe it or not, this was my introduction to this band. I knew who they were. I hadn't bought any of their stuff before then, and it wasn't until I got this album, which basically signaled the end of their career, that I started going backwards. So I actually started buying more of their previous albums after my high school years. Okay, but the first one I did get, and it came out March 4th, 1983 for Vertigo Records. The last album from Thin Lizzy, Thunder and Lightning. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I actually think a buddy of mine bought this before me. He bought it on cassette, and then I went and bought the album. And I remember specifically, we kind of knew who John Sykes was because I at the time I also had the Crazy Nights from Tigers of Pantang, and I knew he was on that album. And all of a sudden you started hearing, if you were reading the guitar magazines, because I was reading guitar magazines and, Kerrang and stuff like that, and Metal Hammer magazine, and I remember like John Sykes was starting to get mentioned a lot, more on the European side of things, not so much here, but started to see his name. And then, this album came out and I heard he was in Thin Lizzy, and we were all like, oh, got to check that out. So my buddy bought the cassette of this, and he used to play it on his big boombox quite a bit, and I was like, oh, I really like that. I need to get that too. So of course I bought that as well. And we listened to this a ton. I mean, it's no surprise. This is their heaviest album, and we were getting into some pretty heavy stuff at the time. So yeah, I remember Cold Sweat. In fact, I'm pretty sure they played Cold Sweat on the local rock radio station WPDH 101.5 in Poughkeepsie. I'm pretty sure that may or may not be the first time I actually heard anything from this. So I think that may have been the spark that prompted him to buy the cassette and me to get the LP. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but probably, because I'm pretty sure they played that back in the day. But yeah, it's the title track "Thunder and Lightning" is raging. There's some really cool, more moodier pieces on here. This is the one is upbeat, great. The Sun Goes Down, terrific. That's one of the moody songs. I really like that a lot. Holy War, so good. And the dueling guitars of Sykes and Gorham, just tremendous on that. Cold Sweat, of course, is great riffy song, tremendous solo. Somebody's Going to Hit Back, another terrific song. Baby Please Don't Go, so much fun. That is total 70s Thin Lizzy right there. Bad Habits is a fun song, and then Heart Attack finishes it all off. It's really funny because, even though this has always been tagged as, Thin Lizzy going heavy metal, and while it is the heaviest Thin Lizzy album, there's so many of these songs, are really no different in kind of theme than most of their classic material, in the mid-late 70s. It really isn't. It's just, you got Sykes, who's got that more of a metallic sound, but all the Thin Lizzy trademarks are here. Phil sounds great. It's just sad that this was kind of the end of the road for them, because I think had Phil been in better health, I think this band had a lot more legs. But then, if Thin Lizzy doesn't end, Sykes maybe doesn't join Whitesnake, then you don't have that. So it's, kind of weird how things happen sometimes for a reason, and not that any of us wanted to lose Phil or wanted Thin Lizzy to end, but you look back in history sometimes and, the way things work themselves out, I guess. I don't know. So, but a great album, and one of the great final albums of a classic band ever. You know, sometimes bands just release an album, they think they're going to continue, and then they break up. Some bands say, okay, this is it. Here's the last one you're going to get, and they make it a great one. That was this, right? They were, they knew that this was probably going to be the end of the line, and they put out a really good one. So yeah, just Brian Downey, Scott Gorham, Phil Lynott, John Sykes, Darren Wharton, great stuff. Great stuff. I always wish, granted, I've seen Thin Lizzy a couple times in later incarnations without Phil. Obviously, that, how you can, it's kind of hard to call it actually seeing Thin Lizzy without Phil, right? But I would have loved to have seen them back in the day, but didn't really get that chance. So, anyway, there you have it today. That's my pick for today, for day 16. So let us know what you think of Thunder and Lightning in the comments and down below. But more importantly, list your pick in the comments section, your pick for day 16, number 16 of your 30 favorite albums from your high school years. We're going back to school this month, right? So we'll see you tomorrow with another one as we continue on. Stay tuned just a little bit. We got Martin Popoff coming on, of course. It's Friday morning. Of course, we're going to the Funhouse because it wouldn't be a Friday morning without Friday morning at the Funhouse, right? And stay tuned. Join us October 1st at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York, where Martin and I will recreate Friday morning at the Funhouse, Saturday afternoon at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York, along with the Hudson Valley Squares and In the Prague Seat, and Chris Caffrey from Savatage and TSO, and Andy Powell from Wishbone Ash, and Sonus Umbra featuring Louis Nasser on bass, Epic Tantrum, great upstate New York prog band, as well as the Legends, Pat Travers Band, Vanilla Fudge, and Nectar, all live on stage at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York. Your ticket guarantees you to the entire day. You can kind of come and go as you please. If you don't want to come in the afternoon to watch the panel stuff, you don't have to. You can come for the evening. If if you want to do one or the other or both, or you want to just kind of come and go, it's an all-day festival, so do as you please. And we'll see you then, right? So take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell. We've also got the links below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page, where you can get all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility stuff, including our 5 most popular shirt designs are now available on Amazon. There's a link there to get them at a reduced rate, so go check that out. And we'll see you here tomorrow morning for another look back on our high school years. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.